Welcome to Psych and Hip Hop Talk This Way, where we explore the dynamic intersection of mental health and urban culture. I'm your host, Natanya Wachtel, and today we have a special guest who is the cornerstone of the Atlanta hip hop scene and one of the godfathers of Southern rap, T-Mo Goodie from the legendary Goodie Mob. T-Mo, born Robert Barnett, emerged from Atlanta's burgeoning hip hop scene in the mid 1990s. As a founding member of Goodie Mob, alongside CeeLo Green, Cujo, and Big Gip, T-Mo played a vital role in defining the Dirty South sound. Goodie Mob's debut album, Soul Food, was a groundbreaking release that combined gritty beats with profound social commentary, which helped put Atlanta hip hop on the map. The group's music has always been about more than just entertainment. It's been a voice for the marginalized, addressing issues of poverty, racism, and resilience. In addition to his musical career, T-Mo is known for his positive outlook and commitment to community. His journey from the early days of Atlanta's hip hop scene to becoming a respected figure in the music industry is a testament to his resilience and faith. Despite challenges and losses that he faced, including the recent passing of a childhood best friend, T-Mo remains dedicated to living a life to the fullest and inspiring others to do the same. Today, we'll dive into T-Mo's incredible story, the evolution of Atlanta's hip hop scene, and the personal and professional struggles he has overcome. We'll also explore the powerful messages in his music and how he has used this platform to promote mental health and community empowerment. Hi there.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. Hello to our listeners and audience viewers, depending on what channel and what way you're consuming us. Want to say hi from Psych and Hip Hop. And today we got somebody good. If you don't already know immediately by looking at him, my guest today is the one, the only T-Mo, who you may or may not know from his time coming up in Atlanta with the Goodie Mob, as well as being a solo act. And we're going to talk about a little bit what that was like to be kind of on the map from Atlanta and what some of the unique things were about that music scene compared to maybe West Coast LA or New York scene. And then talk a little bit about what some of the challenges were like, because obviously not everything is perfect all the time. And then we're going to talk about any kind of free for all at the end. So everyone get ready because it's going to be a ride, I'm sure. And welcome, T-Mo.
Hey, well, introducing myself, 1-4 for Goodie Mob. I am T-Mo Goodie, everyone. And my start began back in the very early to mid 80s. I would say mid 80s, I fell in love with hip hop. Hip hop became a strong culture in our community and I was embracing it. I felt like it was my life. It was what I breathed. It kept my heart beating every day going to and from school. Just hearing everybody, big speakers in the car, riding up the driveway coming to school, and you could just hear boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was beautiful. That was just my background. Um, the hip hop community, as far as coming from Atlanta at that particular time when I was in high school, we didn't have a scene. We had very minimal artists. The only artist I could remember that was out when I was in high school was Raheem, and he was from Atlanta. His parents Fish Supreme store, and they used to sell fresh fish to the community. He also hip hop community, one of the founding fathers of hip hop in my community, and a couple of other ones. But as far as mainstream hip hop, we didn't have a scene. That was totally local hip hop that we were getting fresh party, every Friday night. We weren't even hip hop every night. Atlanta, we were getting hip hop on Friday night, and it was called a Fresh Party. And everybody that loved hip hop would wait for that moment, grab their cassette tapes because they don't exist now, and we would push record, and you would record the entire Fresh Party, and then you would be able to listen to it for the rest of the weekend. So that was the excitement back then. So we didn't have. Now you got V103 hip hop all day. You got Hot 1079 playing hip hop all day, every day. So the culture has taken over. But being a part of the true founding fabric of hip hop from the South, hey, here it is right here in your face. It's T-Mo Good. I swear to God. And I'm just excited. I'm just excited to be a part of it, excited to be still breathing, still be relevant to the community, still ready to continue giving the community some good jewels in the we took a our music and decided that we were gonna do a little more than just make you dance in the club. We wanted to kind of enlighten people through our hip hop. We wanted to try to help people through, positive messages. Somebody that might be struggling with something inside. Hopefully, our music might tap something in your spirit and feel good about the day and make you want to be motivated or inspired to keep going. You know, that's what the good is all about. Goodie Mob stood for the good die BS. You know what I'm saying? Which is bullshit. You take one old way, we say God is in every man of being. You know what I'm saying? So God everywhere. He ain't just me, he and you, all of us. You know what I'm saying? You just get to that spirit.
And that's a lot. That's a lot in there. So the historic, obviously, I'm like with an icon. That's amazing. But the fact that your message early on back in the day when, yeah, we had cassette tapes and you couldn't just consume music any way you wanted from anywhere all over, especially if you were in a sort of, like you said, a music, there was no scene really except for Friday nights. But the fact that you guys started out, I think of groups like Run DMC, and there's very few, right, who also like were cleaner, if you will, cut and more like the first on MTV, and when Yo MTV Raps just came out and all of that, right? You're smiling, like, and I'm not judging being hard. I mean, it's a hard life people go through. You have to express it. A lot of people, talk about um, the visual arts, dance and hip hop. It's all about an expression of your life, of your feelings, of your essence. And the fact that, and we're going to transition to that a little bit, that there's no struggle. The fact that you're trying to actually still talk about how you get through it has always been kind of a differentiator, like you said. I mean, literally the word goodie, right? And that's really, really amazing, because I talk to a lot of artists, obviously from our generation times. And a lot of them didn't come to that message until later in life,
That's
which
true.
is understandable, because all they saw was, if you're not hard, you're dead,
Hmm.
or you're weak. So none of those are good, right? So I wanted to ask a little bit about some of the challenges, though, whether it was for you personally or within, see, like within the gang. I say gang, the group, or in your neighborhood, and kind of what you saw, and if you see any change today. Are you still in Atlanta now?
Well, I actually live on the outskirts of Atlanta, but I'm like 15 minutes from the city, so I'm not far at all. Maybe 20 minutes from the city. Not that far, because that's my heartbeat. I like to stay close wherever I need to get, even though I don't really do a lot in the city, but I am very close relatively.
That's cool. So you wanna sorry, I was just running to Ryan. I heard you cutting in and out just a little bit. We'll cut this part out. And I just wanted to make sure he could hear you straight off. Okay, because I don't know what that was. Okay, sorry. All right, Timo. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So bear with me. Okay. So can we talk a little bit about some of the struggle, some of the hard bits, if you will, like whatever you're comfortable with for yourself, or, within your actual group, or, sort of in the scene, and some of the things you saw maybe in the early days.
Well, I definitely say some of my struggle just with life, just balance everything, because I know life is about balance, and you're gonna go through ups, you're gonna go through downs, and it's about understanding how to get through them. And the way I stood and motivated myself on how tough times, I look at a tough time, that's my test for greatness, test for whatever around the corner. I'm about to get there, but I gotta get through this rough time to get to the glory. You know what I mean? So that's the way I'm inspired daily. And through my life, a lot happens like that. It's real. Some big blessing will be, but I might not see it. So what that is, test of my faith. That's a true test of faith, because faith is not believing that I can see the corner. Faith is believing that what's around the corner is good. And that's what I believe helps me to get through rough life. I've experienced a lot of weird things in my life. Very that I don't mind sharing. I've lost almost almost every best friend that I've ever had in my lifetime, and it's very strange. But from my childhood best friend, my true first childhood best friend, just passed 2 weeks ago on March the 9th. And it's still painful to me, but at the same time, I'm able to get through it, knowing that he's in a better place and he's no suffering with the burden of cancer that was eating his body like that, and body in a negative way. So he inspired me to try to get in here and eat better, live right, do more exercising, pay close attention to certain things, and just make changes if I see negative things, negative responses that my body gives. Try to understand why it's the responses and make a change there. And that's what we got kind of given. But the thing that tapped into that we had gone years without even speaking, and all of a sudden, the blue sky, he just decided to start calling me again about a month ago. And then he kind of eased it to me and told me, the doctor told me he gave me 6 months to live. And I said, oh man, I couldn't believe it. The moral of that story is he lived told me that 6 days. So it's time to live, time to try to be great. It's time to enjoy your moment. Life is about a moment, right? It's not about nothing other than enjoying the moment that you in right now, because tomorrow is not promised. So enjoy whatever moment you living in to the fullest. That's why I call myself T-Mo to the fullest, try to live my life to the fullest. I want to enjoy every moment all out to the maximum. I want to enjoy everything to its maximum capacity. That way I feel like I live my life. So when it's time for me to be called home, which we all will be one day, but I ain't in no hurry, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I want to enjoy it while I can. You feel me?
Yeah, no, that's incredible resilience. Incredible. And I think, very unusual, especially when you were coming up in a scene that was, like you said, there wasn't like a huge community there. The Atlanta hip hop scene was, I mean, you guys were the founding fathers. And, you went to, and also unlike some folks, you went to college, you have a Bachelor of Science, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you have sort of a different track than some of the folks that I speak with. And your positivity, like, pushes out of you. It's incredible. And but I was wondering about, one of the things that other folks struggle with a lot has to do with when they first get their first deal or their first money, and they first get on the scene and they get invited to more parties, and I don't even know if I should call it parties, but you know what I'm saying, like, or your first time on tour, and things are put in your face, a lot of things that could kind of take you out of the scene and take you off track. How did you how did you stay the person that you are throughout this time with all of those rapid changes, with all of the eyes on you, all the people probably with their hand out the minute you started making some money, What was that like, and how did you kind of keep the you that you are to stay T-Mo?
Well, the good part about it, I had a good upbringing, a good background. Grew up with both my parents in the household. So I mean, we weren't rich. I ain't saying I'm from Buckhead and we had all the money in the world. No, 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 no. But my parents worked. Both of them had jobs, made decent money. And they were able to provide a nice, comfortable home. So I watched my parents growing up, so they're my influencers. So my dad would be at the house, sitting back, eating watermelon, watching TV, relaxing, watching the game, watching some football, watching some basketball, watching some baseball, and cooking his food, growing stuff in his garden, just enjoying the fruit of his labor, and that's kind of how I live. And I guess that's how I was able to duck and dodge. But I've been to certain things. I've seen a lot in my career. I mean, I've seen a lot. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've seen a whole lot. But I stay grounded in the Lord. I got a strong upbringing. In church, in Christ. I'm a true Christian, but I ain't a perfect person. I can't
No, but nobody is. Nobody is. Come on.
say I sat there and been holier than thou through the whole experience. I've done and experienced some things that I might not be that proud of, but I got through them and they didn't define me.
I was about to say, you don't let them define you, and that's really, really a big message. a
Yeah.
really big message. I think for people, in the similar age bracket and the younger ones, because if you get stuck in that, I did this, that happened, then you don't move forward. So the not letting it define you is a big one. That's awesome. Yeah. And like you said, you kind of had a more supportive scaffolding upbringing than some other folks, sure. But a lot of folks had that and still turned away from it. So, your dedication to faith and some of the basic values that you have throughout. I mean, I love that you said everything is a test. That's a challenge. And instead of like the world is against me, you're it's so inspirational. I almost don't have the proper words. And yeah, I guess I would just like to know before we close out, what would you like to say to some of the young folks coming up now on the scene, or just kind of really into music, or even just, living life and just appreciating it, that might be fans?
I say, man, even though I might say it pretty well and I might sound like it was all smooth for me, it wasn't, and to this day, it's still not. As I speak, I'm actually mentoring to myself because, I fall a victim too to some of the stuff I'm even talking about. I ain't like I said, hey, I get hard on myself a lot of times. I get down on myself. I'm my worst critic. So we all are our worst critics. But one thing I say, just keep your faith. Let it come from here. Anything you do when it's coming from here, then you gave it your all. Then whatever your result is, that's what you're supposed to get at that particular time in life, and that's how I be able to move forward because I know, like I said, everything comes in full circle. No doubt about it. Everything is gonna come around. Comes around, go hard work I put in, the blood, sweat, and tears. It's gonna manifest into something great one day. So keep your head up when the going gets tough. Keep grinding. That's my motto.
It's amazing. Thank you. And like you said earlier, maybe it's around the corner. You just have to believe it's there, because it's not always, you don't always get to see what's
Mm-mm.
next.
That's true.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I thank you. I really feel like I'm part of history now that we had this conversation.
Yeah,
Uh,
too.
and and yeah, this is hopefully the beginning of several iterations, because when we go do some live stuff, and Atlanta is definitely on the stop, especially with the athletes, and we'll see how we can keep going this way, because you are infectious. Your energy is amazing, and your positivity is like the best drug ever I could ever hope to prescribe.
Yeah, yeah, make me feel good on this Friday.
All
Thank you.
right. Well, Friday, that was Friday. You said Friday was the day of hip hop. And then when you were a kid with I know what that's like with your finger ready to record on the cassette.
Oh, you remember that? You used to have to put tape in a used tape. You could put tape on the top parts of the little holes on the end of the thing.
Yes.
That way you could do whatever you want to do with the tape. So yeah,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
all.
no, I remember those days, and that's why I think that's one of the biggest things that the younger folks don't appreciate, maybe, is that you had to hunt for the music that you wanted sometimes in the early days. We were talking about that, right? Like, if it wasn't in your neighborhood, it was a whole thing. You had to wait for, maybe it would be played on the radio. Maybe you could find a local station, especially if you were into something that wasn't super mainstream. So I really appreciate that. And that's really kind of amazing that we got to see that transition,
Yeah,
because we're kind of the last folks who kind of really grew up without all of the tech and the digitized everything and all the genres out there. You were defining the genres that were coming into play. And I just think that's really incredible. And the fact that you've been able to navigate all that, still be out on top, still be smiling, still be spreading messages if you can do it, smiling like you're glowing. Thank you, man. Thank you.
thank
I want this energy to go to everyone who's feeling a little less than right now, a little low. Check in on your friends, right? That's what we say. So maybe you're doing great, but we also want to say, like, women are often like socialized to be allowed to check, gossip, and not just gossip. It's a release. Talk about, oh, this boy hurt my feelings, or this girl did that, or whatever. But men, it wasn't really cool to do that. And so they go inward, right? They get quiet or they get angry. So, part of the message here too is, which we were talking about before we went on air, check in on your friends. If you're doing great, that's awesome. Look around because maybe someone else is afraid to say, right? I mean, I know that that's a big part of what you do too. So, thank you, T-Mo. And I can't wait to like actually be in person with you sometime soon.
Thank
That
you.
was me hugging you.
Hug back.
At the Natanya Experience, we believe we can all rise above challenges, heal, and shine together. And so we give big thanks to our amazing partners who share our vision of universal health and happiness.